Hi guys, it is actually turning into a pretty nice day here in the end times in the former paradise of South Austin, Texas, where I have had one hell of a day living here in the end times, just dealing with this shit. But now I can take 3 breaths and relax and get back to doing what I do every Friday, and that's to bring you my now 2-part ecological meltdown roundup rant, where I simply go on into my email box on Friday to see my various environmental story roundups. And we're going to make part 1 the Donald Trump version of my ecological meltdown roundup rant. I'm going to make this as short as I can, looking at the various ways that our new planet eater in chief, Donald Trump, is in his band of horsemen of the apocalypse are taking this planet into a brick wall at 77,000 miles an hour, even with no help from the mother of all bombs. Mother of all bombs. Jesus. Donald Trump and these fuckers that he surrounded himself with don't even need the mother of all bombs to take down a planet. They're doing fine just with the shit coming out of their mouths. But we're going to start, interestingly enough, on this roundup rant here on mangabay.com, who has not mentioned Donald Trump's name one time in their roundup of stories about how the planet's heading into a brick wall. But they do mention Donald Trump this week, and I love it because they're asking a question in their one story about Donald Trump. And the question on the minds of those eco-Nazis at mangabay.com is this: is sustainability sustainable in the age of Trump? Is sustainability sustainable? The last time this planet was even remotely sustainable was probably back in the age of Julius Caesar, or right around, what was that, or right around 44 BC was the last time that this planet on any level could claim to be calling itself sustainable. This whole goddamn notion of sustainability, please pull your head out of your ass. I beg of you. I love this. So, we believe there is still plenty of opportunity to protect our environment and society. God damn it. In part because Trump's actions have virtually no popular support and limited business support. Even Trump voters support environmental regulation and renewable energy. There you go. So this clueless moron pretending like sustainability is sustainable in the age of Trump. Alright, we're going to go, let's go over to, from those eco-Nazis, let's go over to these eco-Nazis over here at Washington Post. Trump moves to open Atlantic coast to oil drilling for the first time in more than 30 years.
No shit, Sherlock.
The White House is considering an executive order instructing the Interior Department to reverse President Barack Obama's withdrawal of hundreds of millions of offshore acres from future drilling. There you go. Okay. It's not just climate. EPA under Trump hints that it could roll back Obama's smog rules.
No shit, Sherlock.
Yes. Okay. They have two stories on that one. I love it about Scott Pruitt. I guess he's, I was just reporting how Betsy DeVos is needing all of this extra security. So now Trump's EPA is seeking a 24/7 security detail for its new leader, Scott Pruitt. Yes, Scott Pruitt, I guess he's looking for a bullet coming through his fucking head. Okay, from Scott Pruitt to Rick Perry. I'm not even going to insult my intelligence or yours. Even talk anyway. Moving on. Anyway, I want to make this one fairly quick, guys. Let's go over to Endangered Earth from the Center for Biological Diversity to see what's on their minds about how Donald Trump is endangering the Earth.
No shit, Sherlock.
And the very first, their lead-off article, Center, meaning the Center for Biological Diversity, and Congressman sue Trump over border wall. There you go. We're taking Donald Trump to court again. On Wednesday, the Center and Arizona Congressman Raul Grijalba sued the Trump administration over his proposed border wall and other measures that will divide communities and have disastrous consequences for endangered jaguars, ocelots, wolves, and more than 100 species in the region. There you go. This is what resistance looks like. We've already filed 10 other lawsuits against Trump, including ones targeting his plans to ramp up coal mining on public lands and construct the Keystone XL pipeline. There you go. Let's see. Now, any of these could have Trump indirectly related, but let's see. I think there's a pretty much direct, anyone who doesn't understand the direct relation to this story and Donald Trump, obviously I've had a failure to communicate for the past 3 months. Legal protest targets plan to frack 100,000 acres in Colorado. The senators and allies this week filed an administrative protest challenging a federal decision under the new Trump administration to offer more than 100,000 acres of federal public land in northern Colorado for oil and gas industry fracking.
No shit, Sherlock.
The leasing decision being pushed by the Trump administration's BLM threatens some of Colorado's most treasured and scenic landscapes and wildlife species. Quote, one of these Colorado huggers, quote, fracking these pristine public lands would come at the cost of imperiled wildlife, clean air, and clean water, meanwhile worsening climate change. This is classic Trump corporate cronyism that sacrifices public values for oil industry profits.
No shit, Sherlock.
Okay, but we're going to get really over to the left side of the dial over here on Alternets, environmental stories roundup of the week. We were just in Colorado. Let's look at the Colorado River. How the lower Colorado shows what's really at stake for America's rivers as Donald Trump rolls back protections by starving key federal conservation initiatives. President Trump's budget threatens rivers and communities nationwide.
No shit, Sherlock.
Yes, and well, I guess I'll come back to this one. I think I mentioned this very story last week, but I guess it bears repeating. Trump's EPA gives big gift to Dow Chemical while putting children at risk.
No shit, Sherlock.
I've already been over that one several times. Let's just do one more. I guess you can draw your own dots between this story and Donald Trump. How political theater in Congress is threatening science and the climate. Dozens of GOP-sponsored bills seek to hamstring the government's ability to protect the environment and to consider peer-reviewed science in its decisions. And you better believe that Donald Trump is simply going to rubber stamp any of those no shit Sherlock laws coming out of the Republican Congress. Anyway, guys, I could go on with this, but between you and me, I'm sick and tired of this fucktard Donald Trump. Just saying this man's name gives me indigestion. So anyway, I'm going to come back at you now with part 2 of my ecological meltdown roundup rant, where we're going to look at the myriad ways this planet is heading directly into a burning lake of fire and a brick wall. Most of the stories here are climate change stories. After my little aborted climate change roundup on Wednesday, I'll make up some of that in part 2 of this rant, as we look at ways the planet is heading directly into a brick wall at 67,000 miles an hour with no help from Donald Trump. Coming up in 1 minute. Bye, guys.